What is going on, everybody? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of The Real Housewives of Dubai. Let's get into it. Season 1, Episode 11. So we're still at the dinner where Stanberry and Chanel were going at it. And coming to find out, because I didn't understand what got Chanel so upset. And what got Chanel upset was when Stanberry questioned her on exactly what did she do for a living. And the reason why this triggered Chanel was because Stanberry is always asking her this question. Basically like downplaying or being very dismissive on how Chanel makes a living or how she makes her money. She just wants to categorize Chanel as a model or a person who used to be a model and just lives off of her husband and doesn't do much of anything else. And Chanel talks about all of her accomplishments, what she does for a living, how she earns her income, and she's just tired of Stanberry questioning her on the legitimacy on how she makes money. She's just tired of it all. So this is what causes the argument between the two women. Stanberry gets upset. She walks away from the table. Nina follows her, and Stanberry confronts Nina and says, you didn't even stand up for me. You know, I was getting all this heat from Chanel, and you didn't even stand up for me, not once. And Nina was like, well, I was trying to get y'all to calm down. And this is what Nina does, because Nina has been accused of this before, of not standing up for someone. And her response is, well, I was trying to get y'all to calm down. That's not what people mean, Nina, when they say you're not standing up for them. You know exactly what they're talking about. So Chanel says in her confessional that she made a white woman cry, and thank God they're not in the 1800s, because then she wouldn't even be there. I thought that was really funny. So Lisa says that Nina is like a user. She just tries to cling on to people who she thinks is going to help her advance in some way, and that her friendships are not real. And when they get back to the villa, Lisa and Chanel call Nina out for being two-faced, because there was a time when Nina would talk a lot of crap about Stanberry, but now all of a sudden her and Stanberry are BFFs. So they're like, okay, she's really two-faced, she's really fake, and so maybe we got to keep our eye on Nina, not really necessarily Stanberry. So Lisa and Brooks, the next morning, they're talking about, you know, Chanel having to defend herself, always having to justify what she does for a living. And they say that in general, Black women, in America, I guess in Dubai as well, and everywhere else, you know, Black women always have to try to constantly prove themselves to people, and that, you know, Chanel needs to let people know that she's more than just a model. You know, she not that she needs to, but that she's constantly having to explain who she is and what she's about, because people just dismiss her as someone who used to be a model. Now her modeling days are gone. I don't know how they think of her. Basically, they don't really see her as a businesswoman. They don't see her as a moneymaker. And she has to prove that she is that. She is exactly that. That she's more than just a pretty face. So then they have, okay, I'm not going to even talk about the healing session. I don't even care about that. So Chanel and Stanberry finally get a chance to have a conversation one-on-one. And the conclusion is there's just a big misunderstanding. Stanberry tells Chanel, I wasn't trying to criticize you or say anything negative about you or question what you're doing. I was actually trying to compliment you. And I was actually trying to big you up, you know, by talking about how you are independent, you make your own money, you're doing your own thing. But I never was able to talk because Chanel kept on over talking her. So they both agree that, look, it was just a misunderstanding. The thing about Chanel is that Chanel just wants to get over the hump. You know, if she's having a problem with someone, she's going to address it. Like the way she was addressing it with Stanberry. She's going to address it just like the way she did also with Sarah. But then after that, she just wants to like get past it and just smooth things over and let's just be friends again. You know, she's a peacemaker. She doesn't want to carry grudges. She doesn't want to carry all this hate. Stanberry doesn't really care. Stanberry will carry a grudge to her grave. She don't give a damn. But Chanel doesn't want that. She doesn't want all that negativity lingering. So she's like, okay, fine, it was a misunderstanding. Let's just move on. So then we find out that Stanberry and Sergio, they're trying to do IVF and they're having a conversation about that. And then we are at Stanberry's temporary apartment. The home that they were living in previously got bought by someone else. And so now they're in a temporary apartment while their permanent home is being built. Brooks comes over, and when she comes over, they start talking about Chanel. Now, this conversation that they had about Chanel really showed that Caroline Brooks is a fence straddler. She just straddles the fence. She wants to keep both sides happy. And she wants both sides to think that she's on their side, because she likes to mingle with Chanel and Lisa, and then she likes to go over and mingle with Stanberry and Nina. So she likes to straddle that fence. So, well, the part about that conversation that really got me upset was when Caroline Stanberry said that Chanel did not thank her for the trip and that she was not appreciative of this $50,000 trip that she took these girls on. And then they showed the clips of Chanel thanking her multiple times for inviting her on this trip. And I cannot wait for the reunion for them to show that, because I want Caroline to see how she put her foot in her mouth by saying that Chanel was not appreciative when she clearly was. Or were you just drunk every single time she thanked you for the trip and that's why you don't remember? What is it? And then Brooke says that she feels like Chanel is just Lisa's puppet. Now, are you going to tell them that to their face? Brooks, you're going to go tell Lisa and Chanel that Chanel is just Lisa's puppet? I'm waiting for the time that you do that. Moving on, Chanel. She goes to a hypnotherapist with Sarah because Sarah was trying to encourage her to see a therapist to get through the issue, to get through her trauma. So when she's at the hypnotherapist, we learn a lot of things about Chanel, very disturbing things that she had gone through as a mere child. At the age of 5, she was circumcised, the female circumcision that a lot of countries were doing. And I don't know if they've outlawed that everywhere, but I know that was a very big thing until kind of recently. So she talked about that. She talked about how at the age of 14, her father tried to sell her off to someone for marriage, but her sister was able to intervene and protect her. She talks about, seeing her mother cry, watching her mother, I guess, being abused by their father, probably. I don't know. So she's been through some very serious trauma. And Sarah says that Chanel needs to close that chapter of her life, move on, and be a better version of herself. Now, Sarah, I got a bone to pick with you. How much better of a version can Chanel be of herself when she's like Miss Susie Sunshine all the damn time? The way that Chanel puts on this presentation of always being happy, of always wanting to get along with everybody, wanting to be a peacemaker. She doesn't cause drama. She doesn't cause mess. How much better can she possibly be? And she's very aware of her past. And it's not like she's suppressing. I don't feel like she was like suppressing what she went through, because she talks about it, and she talks about it in great length. And I feel like for someone who has been through the tragedy that she has been through, it's amazing and miraculous that she is as a positive a person as she is now. When she goes to her friend's house, she gives them gifts. They might be kind of shady gifts for some of them, but she always comes bearing gifts. She always wants to make people happy. She always wants to, get along, whatever the situation calls for, she's there, she's doing it, she's participating. And I'm just like, why would Sarah say that she needs to move on, close that chapter of, close that part of her life, and be a better version of herself? I don't think we can possibly get a better version of Chanel. But anyways, whatever. So she goes to the hypnotherapy, and she says in her confessional, Chanel says in her confessional, that she's no longer going to allow the people that hurt her have power over her. And I think that's a great place to end it. Good for Chanel. Very good for Chanel. I like Chanel. I like Chanel a lot. I mean, she brings a lot of positive energy. I think that she brings her true, authentic self to the table. And all of her grandstanding, I think, is just for show, just for her to appear like a more interesting character for the show. I don't think she really believes half of the things that she says about being the best this, and I'm the most beautiful, and I'm the most this, and I'm the most that. I think she does it all for show. But I think out of the entire group, I probably like Chanel the most. Yeah, I think I like her the most. So yeah, that's a great place to end it on a positive note. She also said that she's still going to see the therapist, which is good. And Sarah, can you just kind of tone it down just a little bit on the holier than thou speeches? Anyways, whatever. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content. Please subscribe, and I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.